My name is Tom Holland, and this is Field Target Tech. This is episode 14. This was supposed to be an episode where we went outside and we did some more testing with my Marauder from last week with the amount of fills that I had, number of shots per fill. That was phenomenal. I was going to test that some more. The weather didn't quite cooperate here in the Northeast. So today we're going to go over something that I could say I have some authority and knowledge about, and that's some offhand shooting for field target use for competition. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an avid crossbow competitor in the off season for the last 2 decades or so plus, and I've won many national championships and world indoor championships. And all of our shooting is done offhand. So I could safely say that a lot of that skill that I've had in the offhand crossbow world has come over to field target only to assist me. So we're going to go over some quick things about shooting offhand for field target. One of the most important things is finding the type of gun that you want to shoot. There's several different styles of field target. You have hunter, you have spring piston, WFTF, open class, and in all of these, some of the guns are similar, but some of them are very different as well. And one of the first things that I want to go over is in order to comfortably shoot offhand properly, or at least effectively, is to have a gun that fits you properly. Now that's difficult to do sometimes when you have, as my HK97 here is, it's just a stock gun. There's no extra butt parts on it, there's no hamster, and all of that. There's no aids at all for any positionals on this particular gun. So what one would do is you would have to make the best out of what this is. So one of the most important things for offhand is to get the butt of the gun into your shoulder. You want to be solid with it. You don't want a death grip on the gun itself. You would want to try to shoot the steadiest that you can shoot. And you see a lot of guys shooting with their elbow out here at the space and trying to shoot. That is one of the more unsteady positions that you could possibly take in offhand. What you want to try to do is get your elbow as close to you as possible, and there's several different ways depending on your physique and depending on your build. You're going to hold, two people are going to hold several different ways. You have someone that's as thin as me. I think I'm thin anyway. maybe not. Someone with my build can get away with getting the elbow in the hip bone and maybe getting some fingers up on the stock. Now the closer that you get your fingers to the stock, the higher you can get the gun. So some guys prefer to do this, other guys just put it on their palm, other guys put the palm this way, some guys put their palms that way. There's many and several different ways to do it, but the main part of it is to get as most support with the elbow that you can against you and be as steady as you can. And trigger control. You have to be easy on the trigger and yet be quick on the trigger at the same time. But like I said, this facilitates a modification of a typical offhand position. Now you have other guns that you can adjust to bring to you, and what I mean by that is you want to be able, as I put this down here, you want to be able to be comfortable and have your head as upright as possible when you shoot the offhand position. You want to be able to adjust the gun to you, not contort you to the gun. That's a very important thing in the comfort and the success of an offhand shooter. I'm going to grab my Marauder here very carefully, and as you see, unlike the HW97, I have a butt hook to help me stabilize the gun. I have a cheek piece I can raise or lower for comfort, as well as a hamster. Now again, you want the butt of the gun solidly against your shoulder. Here's where an extension piece or a hamster would come into play, and is very desirable to have. Now I can get my elbow into my hip bone and get this. I prefer to hold the gun this way. Do not grab your hamster. Just let it sit. That's a mistake a lot of guys make. They grab it and they grab it here and they end up being all over the place. Light grip. You shouldn't have to use any muscles at all to hold the gun up. Nice and easy, like this. Now, a lot of guys say, well, I get tired holding it up. If you have to use muscles in holding the gun up, you're not holding the gun right. You want your elbow solidly into you, onto your hip. Now, some guys' physique doesn't facilitate getting their elbow within their hip. Possibly a 6'7" guy that's 350 pounds may not be able to do that. But the idea is you can adjust all of this equipment to you. Now, in doing that, again, you want to be comfortable. Close your eyes. Bring the gun to you. Don't cock your head to the gun. Adjust the gun to bring it to where you're comfortable. You want your head straight and you want control on the gun. Okay? And that's this particular gun. It's as adjustable as it is. Now, let me put this down. Put this off to the side. And then you might have a different gun or a different platform, as I have here in my Steyr. Again, I have this massive steel I-beam as a palm rest, knee brace. I have a hook and an adjustable cheek piece. Everything on this gun is fully and totally adjustable. Again, you want to bring the gun to adjust to you. Now, in doing that, again, I'm not grabbing with my left hand this palm rest or hamster or whatever you want to call it. Now, with this particular gun, I can't get my elbow in and have enough elevation. So I built this swing arm here, which moves a little bit on the tough side, which is what you want, where I can get my elbow into my my hip, and now I can bring the gun at the right level and be comfortable with that. I'm not contorting myself in order to shoot the gun. And that could swing out of the way for higher shots or lower shots where I would not need that attachment. So every gun is a little bit different in that manner. Let me just put this down as well. One thing to remember in offhand shooting is you have to take a few deep breaths before you start shooting. Take a few breaths, and a lot of guys go and they hold their breath, and that's the improper way to breathe when you're trying to get a shot off. What you want to do is, as I'm out of breath right now, what you want to do is you want to take a few breaths, let the last breath you plan on holding out just a little bit. Don't hold the breath totally, let about 30% of it out and hold it. And if you can't get the shot off within 3, 4, 5 seconds tops, stop, breathe, start over again. Get your finger off the trigger, start over. That's one of the reasons why I don't like to spend a lot of time wasting time in the beginning setting up on the clock. I like to get all my pellets and everything situated for the offhand position. I like getting everything all set before I even address and get up and start range finding. Every couple seconds that you save is more time that you get to wait for the wind if there's a lot of wind and stuff like that. And I have found in the past that the guys that do time out in the offhand lanes, either they don't get the shot off or they're forced to take the shot at the last second as a whim. Personally, if I'm ever pressed for time for a shot, I'll always throw the shot down range out of some dumb luck shot to get it down there. Having a shot is better than not getting the shot off at all and running out of time. But I generally shoot fast anyway, so that's, for me, that's really not too much of an issue. One of the other things in offhand shooting is your sense of timing. You have to time the wind sometimes. You have to sometimes sway yourself into the wind or out of the wind because the wind's going to be pushing the gun around. And it's a very, very difficult thing. Now, there are some things that you can do to help steady your offhand position, just as we see with several of these different guns and my physique. One of the best things that you can do is get a shooting jacket. And I have one right here. And I'm not going to put it on. This is, I believe I got this from Champion's Choice. I don't even know what this is. This is, I believe, a Champion Shooting Supply Freeman product. This is a Freeman shooting jacket, which has all the attachments on it, specified in the rules, and you're allowed a 1-point sling like this, or the sling can be attached in 2 points on the rifle, and you wrap your hand around it. It cannot go around your back or any other part of your body. Another big help in the offhand position is a shooting glove, such as this. This is made, I believe this is a Gaiman glove. This is an extra large, and you want it to fit snug. You don't want it to be too loose. You don't want it to be too tight. You want to have a little bit of stiffness and tightness in the hand. And as you see, there's a rough surface on this, which aids in the grip on the gun, even though it's just sitting there and it's nice and easy. It's basically a non-skid surface, so it doesn't slip. These are excellent, particularly in the rain, where you need as much grip as you can so you don't lose the gun out of your hands. Again, this is the type of thing you would use where your hamster or your gun is there. You don't want to grab it even with the glove. You just want to let it sit there, and this helps absorb some of your pulse and some of the jumpiness that the gun might have, along with the shooting jacket and possibly the sling. I don't use a sling offhand. It's not something that I was ever comfortable or taught with, so I never had a chance in using it. One of the other things that facilitates a good offhand shooter is knowing how to basically slow down. And I see so many guys rushing to take a shot really, really quick. They'll get up there and they'll go snap and think, oh, I missed. And, you know, take your time. You have a full couple minutes to shoot a lane. Use it. Don't be afraid of going down to 10 seconds and getting your shot off. If it means dropping the target or not, it could be even a difference between winning or losing a match. That being said, with some scopes, okay, in hunter class, you don't have too much of a choice. Starting this year, you're allowed to use up to 16 magnification, which is better than the old 12 was. But for WFTF uses, for open uses, piston, you can go up to whatever magnification you want. Now, that poses another problem also, is the higher the magnification, the more the shaking or the unsteadiness of the position is shown through the scope. Now, in looking through a scope at 50 power, your kill zone is very, very large. But when you shoot and you aim at 50 power, this is going to be jumping around. Your scope is going to be doing this, jumping all around. This is just a demonstration, but it might be very, very fast and jerky. So now, and I'm guilty of this myself, where if it's like that, you should maybe turn it down a little bit. And I'm thick-headed, I'm reluctant. I try to take every shot I can at a full 50 magnification, which both of those scopes were on my Steyr and on my my Marauder. The other HW97 had a lower power scope on it, so that doesn't come into play as much. But now you do the same thing at 30 power, you jack your power down, you might move slowly like this. It might be moving around. And again, if you move it down again in power to 10 power or maybe even 15, it moves even slower. Now, you'll have some days where, even at 50 magnification, you'll put the thing up there, and no matter what you do, you can't keep it on. So you might be forced to bring it down to 30 power, and maybe it appears a little bit steadier so you can get the shot off. And that has a lot to do with your mental game too. It looks steadier, so you think it is steadier, even though it's moving the same amount as it was before. It's just not magnified and showing it. That's a good thing for your brain. You know, oh, it's steadier like that, and you think it's steadier, and you feel a little bit more confident in taking the shot. You have other days where you put that thing on 50 power, and the thing moves like this. It just, you can't miss with it. Same thing at some of the lower magnifications. It might be moving around one day, and then the next day, it stays there. So you have to play it by ear, and you have to adapt to whatever conditions arise when you do sight in for stuff like that. Now, one of the things that a lot of people make a mistake at is they'll get up, as I said, and they'll always try to hold their breath long, and take the shot. Stop. Don't be afraid to let go, stop, start over again. I tend to do that more often than to be thick-headed and keep the thing at 50 magnification. That's probably my biggest thing that I don't do. But that's some of the things that you can do in order to make yourself steadier for offhand. Basically what you want to try to do, if possible, as I said, you want to try to get bone against bone support. Now, a lot of us can't get their elbow into their hip bone or their belt or something like that, and you need a lot of space to make up between the gun and your palm. My Steyr, as you've seen, has a very, very long extension piece I can swing over, and it's relatively comfortable, as is my adjustable hamster on the Marauder, and that is a Rapid Air Weapons adjustable hamster, by the way. That belongs on my TM1000. I ordered it with my TM1000, but it's on a standard rail and can fit in many guns. So those are some of the things that you could just basically, I just wanted to touch on some stuff like that for offhand use. And the biggest thing is take your time doing it. I see so many people with 2 minutes left after their offhand and they miss 50% of their shots. If they would have just taken time and slowed down, that's one of the biggest things I find with guys in offhand position. They'll rush the shots. They'll, oh, I got 2 minutes left. And 2 minutes to some guys is not a lot of time. 2 minutes in field target is a ton of time, particularly if the wind is blowing. If the wind is blowing, you want to maybe wait. Now, you could wait and the wind could blow harder too. I mean, it's a crapshoot. But that's why I like to spend all my time in the beginning of the lane setting everything up before I address it. This way, I'm not spending precious time bringing my pellets a little closer, making sure that my pellet pouch is open, getting my glove on, or setting up or buttoning up my jacket a little bit more. I don't use the time up to do that. I make sure that that's all done before I get into the lane. Those are just some of the things that one can touch on to improve your offhand game. One of the other things that I haven't mentioned that I don't have here for demonstration because they're in the wash and the laundry right now is have a hat with flaps on the side, and that will keep the sun and glare coming from your rear or from left or right, and it helps shield the scope so you don't get any glare off the rear ocular part of the scope. Again, that's basically about it. Some of the tips for offhand. If anyone has any questions, please spit out more. Shoot me some questions, some emails, some comments. I might have left something out. This is just an impromptu thing because we were basically rained out here in the Northeast. I love doing these for you guys. If there's any questions anyone has, please like, subscribe down below. I probably missed a couple points and everything, but the bottom line is you want to have a gun that fits you. You want to bring the gun adjustable to you and just shoot it. Practice. Practice shooting offhand. Practice shooting offhand in the wind. There's no substitute for that. Other than that, again, like, subscribe down below. My name is Tom Holland, and this is Field Target Tech.